22nd, 2022 Code Enforcement Board hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak at today's hearing, please stand and raise your right hand. You must be sworn in to speak at today's hearing. Do you swear and affirm to tell the truth at today's hearing? Thank you. You all may be seated. At this time, please silence all of your devices.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the November 22nd, 2022 Code Enforcement hearings. Let me introduce you to the board. To my far right is Michael Madfis. To my immediate right is Terry Nolan. To my far left is William Marks. To my immediate left is Chris Everett. And our board attorney is Kimberly Curry Smith. My name is Mark Booth. Lackey. Morning, Lackey. Okay. Go ahead, call the first case.
Our first case, Senior Inspector Alejandro Del Rio, is on page 4. Property address 834 Northwest 10th Terrace. Owner Rampati Ram and Shandario Ramsaran and all others. Case number BE 2202-0075. This case was first heard on 8/23/22 to comply by 11/22/22. One section at $50 per day, order recorded, not complied. Notice posted at the property on 10/28/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22.
Good morning, Building Inspector Alejandro Del Rio for the city. Mike's not on. Morning. Building Inspector Alejandro Del Rio for the city, updating case as read. There have been no progress on this case. I'm going to let the respondent speak.
Go ahead. What's your name and your relation to the property?
My name is Kisun Ram. I bought the building in 2006, and the spray book was there.
Okay.
And I went and I checked. And these are the records that the city has. I bought the building with the paint booth, and this is all I could find. But I need some more time to check on what really was recorded, because what I have here is all I could find in the records.
Well, this is a repeat business case, so what you got to do is you got to come into compliance because a fine is running on this property. So you're going to have to either find a way to apply for a permit to have the booth or have the booth removed, one or the other.
I'm going to need something in writing.
It doesn't matter whether it was there or not, it's there now, and it's a code violation, and he owns the property.
Let me hold it. Please, thank you.
Anything else?
I need some time to correct the
How much
problem.
time do you need?
Probably another 90 days.
90 days. How's the city feel about 90-day extension?
I would like to hear a little detail on what he plans to do because he was already given 63 days and nothing happened. Is something going to be different this time?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have the records from the city. The previous owner have all the things that he did to put the booth up, but somehow or the other, it's not recorded because it's so long he had the building.
So, do you agree that you need to obtain a permit for the booth?
Yeah, whatever I need, I'll do.
Okay, city wouldn't disagree to a 63-day extension.
Well, that's not really on the.
And is there any help I can get from the city? Know where to go, what to do?
Well, that's not for now. I'll entertain a motion.
I move for a 60-day extension or
Can we make it 70? please?
70-day extension.
70.
I got a motion by William. I got a second by Terry. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing none, motion carries. All right, you got 70 days. Let's get it done.
Thank you.
Next
Okay,
case.
sir.
Our next case is also on page 4. Senior Inspector Alejandro Del Rio, property address 1238 Northeast 7th Ave, owner Curl 1238 LLC, case number BE 22020082. This case was first heard on 8/23/22 to comply by 11/22/22. One section at $50 per day. Order recorded, not complied. Notice posted at the property on 10/21/22. Posted at City Hall 11/8/22.
Building Inspector Alejandro Del Rio for the city. There was some progress on this case. The legal addition to the rear building was removed, but the accessory structure remains there without permits. I'm going to let the respondent speak.
Good morning. Couple of things from the last meeting. There was a dispute, or not a dispute, it was brought up of what the zoning was. So I have a printout from
What's your name,
the-
sir?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name's Philip Kurland. I'm the property owner.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I have a printout from the Broward County Property Appraiser's Office showing the zoning because it was in question last time that it is commercially zoned. So I have that to present, and as Inspector Del Rio stated, the big portion of the project was removed. It was a process of getting people, but it's done. So we had that, which he has confirmed. And our big issue, we have invoices here from a trailer company and a crane company, which I have a copy for the board if they want to see it. The big issue came in is we were here, and it was Inspector Olivia had stated, and I have all the email and I have the minutes, that we can put this on a trailer. So we did all the research, and it's a to-do to get it all built and coordinated. And then I believe Inspector Del Rio was off, and I told him that the other part of the complaint had been taken care of, which he confirmed, but he had said to me in an email that a trailer wouldn't work. So then I sent him the minutes and the information from the inspector from the previous meeting that he said we could put it on a trailer. And then he sent it to that inspector, which again, we have this whole stack and chain of emails going up and back, that it could be put on a trailer. Then later that day, he said, maybe not, it should be put on it should go to code enforcement. So I have invoices for $7,000 that I would prefer not to spend. I just need some kind of clarification or time to know what to do because we were it's very confusing. We were up and back about this second part of the complaint of, do I have to remove this? Can I put it on a trailer? And that's where I brought the copy for the zoning, because it was up for debate of whether it was commercially zoned. It is. I have that from the property appraiser's office. So now Inspector Del Rio is here. He wasn't here at the last meeting. So, and I'm sure he'll confirm, we've had this up and back. We've had good communication. I'm going to have a stack of emails up and back trying to communicate and figure out what to do with this tiny home, which is going to continue my business or not, but that's not the commission's problem. So we're trying to establish, do I spend this money for all these things? Do I not? Is the building department done with this? And is this now a zoning issue? Because this is commercial, and that is what we were trying to clarify last time. In the minutes, it stated that I was saying it was commercial, but it wasn't verified, but I do have the verification here that it is zoned, and actually they're trying to change the zoning yet again to make it more liberal commercial. So this accessory structure that's in question is all surrounded by warehouses in a commercial yard, and it's not behind a house or anything. So I would never have inconvenienced anyone. So I'm just trying to get some clarification and obviously an extension, because I need to, do I spend $7,000 or am I throwing that money away, and do I need to?
Okay.
So
Go ahead,
I
Michael.
didn't have much chance to speak.
Michael's got a question for you.
Okay.
I understand. When you say commercial, it's a broad range of commercial zones in the city of Fort Lauderdale.
It is CB zoned, as shown here on the property appraisers.
CB
And we're willing to do what we have to do. We just don't want to just obviously
Right.
waste a
Hello?
lot of
Is that
money.
working? Okay, great. Thank you. So that's not a very liberal zone in terms of what you're trying to use it for. And putting it on a trailer may not be the solution, but you may be allowed to store a trailer if this was a trailer from time to time. Anyway, I don't have the answer, and the inspectors don't necessarily have the answer. You need to hire a professional who can do the code analysis for you
Okay.
and clearly identify what's allowed and what's not allowed. It sounds to me from the height of that structure and other things like that, it's not allowed in any case. But the solution is not necessarily looking to the inspector to tell you what you can do and what he can do. He can only identify the violations. It's really a design professional, whether it's a zoning expert or whatever, to write a page or two describing either how your thing can work or explain to you how it has to be removed. That's my suggestion to you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just going by the minutes. It took me 5 weeks to get the minutes, and then there was try to get clarification. The inspector, Olivia, says in the minutes, and I have a copy of the minutes, you can put it on a trailer. Then we couldn't, then we could, and then we should check with zoning. So there's a lot of confusion, and this is all here, and the inspector will verify that we've been in good communication. It's just, we need to obviously spend our money. It's not a blank check. We need to spend our money wisely at this point and not
How much
waste
time do you
money.
need? How much time do you need?
Well, this, I just wrote down code and, can you repeat what that person would be? A code code?
You know, a code expert, you know, it could be a land use attorney, it could be an architect, it could be a planner, but somebody who can look at the zoning code, look at your site plan and draw a conclusion as to what's correct and what's not. And if there's a valid reason why you can have that, what you have there, then they would explain that and justify it so that you could then take that to the inspector, and there wouldn't be all these sort of wishy-washy questions because it's really not their responsibility. They're sort of grasping at ideas, not necessarily giving you a perfect solution. So
I
they've
understand.
given you some ideas that you can then suggest to one of your professionals, but that's where you should spend your money, not on a crane or a trailer right away. Thank you.
Can I have a question?
Yes.
What's
yes,
the
sir.
final outcome of all this? What's the final plan?
The final plan is to work within the guidelines of what the city will allow if we have
Put
to.
a trailer on the property, that's the final plan?
Well, not if I call these people and they say we can't, or someone says we can't do it with that zoning, then we have to remove it, put it on a trailer, remove it, or demolition it, which would be a shame, but that, you know, we have to get it. We were under the impression that since this was not built on the ground, we didn't build a foundation, this was a floating thing that could be hooked up to a crane today in an hour, that we could construct it and it would be our prototype and we would make our mistakes and figure everything out and then maybe we would build them. Obviously, maybe we could build them there, maybe we can't, but we're not that far. We never got that far.
How much time do you need?
I know how it goes with getting on people's schedules now with the holidays, so
How much time do you need? It's done.
City suggests 70 days.
if it can be longer, great. If not, then I'll have to try to get on the phone with someone and get an appointment. I'm going to guess it wouldn't be until January that I could even get an appointment with anyone. No one really works between now and those types of industries. It's hard to get anybody to work between now and.
I don't know, I think there's
In 70 days, you'll need to show some movement that something has happened with the inspector.
Okay, I can, so.
I'll make a
so-
motion for 70 days.
I got a motion by Michael, a second by Terry for 70-day extension. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And I apologize, one question. So the other portion of the complaint has been removed, so we're just dealing with this one
Correct.
issue of resolution to
Correct.
figure this out.
All right, 70 days. We'll see you back here in 70 days.
Okay. What is the date? for the-
January 31.
January
Yes.
31. Okay,
Says here
thank you.
Our next case is on page 6. Senior Inspector Jose Sadagusti, property address 367 West Dayton Circle.
Oh,
Owner,
looking at it.
Memberlin V. Pierre. Case number BE 20050004. This case was first heard on 3/23/21 to comply by 5/25/21. One section at $50 per day, order recorded. Case is complied. There are 6 extensions noted. Notice posted at the property on 10/4/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22. City is requesting to impose fines of $1,750.
Good morning, Board. Inspector Saragusti on behalf of the city, updating the case as read. The case is complied. The city is requesting reduction of fines to $775. I will let the respondent to speak.
Go ahead. What's your name?
775.
Maybelline, Belfort Pier?
What's your relation to the property?
Yes.
You're the owner?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're asking to reduce the fines, is that right?
Reduction of fines to $775.
Okay, so they're agreeing to reduce the fines to $775. Do you have any problem with that? Ma'am?
I have a question.
Yeah.
And I call Mr. Let
Speak up.
Okay, I call Mr.
Saragusti.
Sarauste because I'm in the process to call the inspector to, the job is already finished, but I'm in the process to call the inspector. And I try to, me say, oh, you need to come to the court. So, I don't know.
The
Okay, well,
case
the
is
fine right
complied.
now is $1,760.
Yes,
They're willing to reduce it to $775. Is that okay with you?
nah, it's not okay for me because I don't have no money. I'm a single mom with 4 children. My husband get the report, and anybody I'm applying to do the job for me, I can say they abuse me. I have someone in the city try to help me, but she passed away. I think her name is Mimo's dog. She died, but now I'm on process to call the city, and you expect to charge me when I'm gonna find the money.
Anything else?
Say that-
Anything else?
That's it.
I'll entertain a motion. I got a motion by Lackey to abate all fines. Do I have a
I second.
I got a second by Terry and by William. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I'm opposed. Okay, so that's abating all fines.
You beat me to it, Bob.
Our next case is on page 1. Senior Inspector Jose Saragusti, property address 2100 Northeast 57th Street. Owner Global Telescope LLC, case number CE 2201-0515. Notice posted at the property on 10/25/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22. This is a new business case.
Inspector Saragusti on behalf of the city presenting the case as read. This case was opened January 20th, 2022. I received the case by email for a complaint for work without permit. Inspection report was mailed on January 24, 2022. Final notice was mailed on May 5th, 2022, and second final notice was mailed on August 8, 2022. Notice of hearing was made on October 14, 2022. I have contact with the tenant and the owner representative here. The property has been cited by Florida Building Code 2020, Board Country Edition under Section 105.1 for work without permit. The city is requesting 70 days to comply or $50 per day thereafter. I will let the respondent speak.
Good morning, Scott Golden here on behalf of the respondent. I'm an attorney, and I've spoken with Mr. Saragusti, and the 70 days that he's proposing is fine with us. And we're in the process of making the corrections. In fact, it's a fence issue, and the fence company is coming out this week.
Okay, yeah. It's not an
I'll
it's a new
second.
business case.
Oh, so we have to,
Find the city the violation exists in which they ordered the property to come into compliance by 70 days or a fine of $25 per day per violation imposed.
I got a
Excuse
motion
me,
by
$25 is not by code, $50 is by code.
right. It's a small infraction. I don't think,
Is that right? Do we have to go 50 minimum?
no.
We do not. Board attorney? All right, so it's 70 days and $25 a day.
Did I see that?
We got a chance to. Oh, it's the yellow one.
Yeah.
But that's a different enforcement.
The 50 is the minimum for Florida, by the Florida Building Code.
But if we can abate a fine, why can't we change the amount per?
We can abate the fine, why can't we change the amount of the fine? Does constitute a conviction.
It says shall.
Yes?
Right.
Are we enforcing the Florida Building Code, or are we enforcing an ordinance of the city of Fort Lauderdale?
No, he's referencing the Florida building.
I see that, but I'm saying, asking as a board, is our mission, our designation to enforce the building code or to comply with an ordinance of the city of Fort Lauderdale building code? Okay.
The building code.
Because I didn't know that we were expert in that.
I think the building code minimum is subsumed in the city's regulation, so.
It is? Okay, I didn't know that.
All right, so,
And I've seen cities where they had the option
motion
to.
by Chris, a second by William. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All, op-
No, I was just gonna say, if, because they can abate fines for the city, but in terms of what the fines are, how the fines are calculated, if that's a part of the building code, that's how you come to the amount. But that doesn't mean that they can.
We can abate it later on.
You can, right, exactly what your counsel just said. So as you all can see in the agenda, I'm not going to say all, but I'm going to say all for the moment, are all FBC violations. So that is the Florida Building Code. That's what you all are tasked with.
Well, wait a second, this is not the Florida Building Code.
Yes, sir.
This is the Broward County amendments.
Correct. That's
So it's not the Florida Building Code.
Yes, it is.
No, it's
So-
an amendment. This does not go throughout the state. This is an amendment by the county.
Correct. So.
That is not really the building code. We follow this may. No, there's nothing like this in the building code.
Right, so this is part of the Florida Building Code. Broward County is unique, and I believe Dade County, but I don't work there anymore, so I can't speak to that. But Broward County has its own Chapter 1. It's adopted pursuant to Florida statute and pursuant to the provisions that are in the Florida Building Code. So this is the Florida Building Code. It is the Broward County edition, which is applied uniformly in Broward County. It's not a Broward County code. It's the Florida Building Code Broward County amendment that, again, is duly adopted pursuant to Florida statute and the processes for the building code. So this is part of the Florida Building Code. And as I think several members mentioned, you certainly can come back and abate all or part of the fines once any property owner, this property owner or any property owner comes into compliance.
Mr., I'm sorry.
So it says upon,
But I'm sorry, I just wanted you to clarify, so that there's a connection between the Florida Building Code. Minimum, that's how the fines get calculated, but that doesn't mean that that once they become the amount for the city, they can abate.
I'm just-
Correct, yes,
okay.
ma'am, they have that discretion. You can abate partially, fully, once a property owner comes into compliance. That is the second part beyond the minimum that is assessed.
Just seems wrong because that's something that may or may not happen down the road. Doesn't seem right that this is a conviction, number one. And number two, it just doesn't seem like this is the correct venue for a building code.
That's all we do is Florida Building Code.
Not state, but city.
This is not city code. This is the Florida Building Code.
And we've always regulated by the severity. They put a air conditioner in a window and they can't get out of the window for, for a fire. We would up the amount, but this is just a couple boards and a fence. So
Right, so the minimum is established in the code, and right, certainly you all can go above and beyond that, right, for life safety issues, for electrical issues, for structural issues, for anything the board considers, but that, again, would just be the minimum allowed, and again, as the board has recognized and as council has advised, you all can abate partially or completely once a property owner comes into
It
compliance.
just seems excessive. We're talking about some fence posts and a fence permit. It just seems excessive. That's
I
why
agree with that.
So
but-
you
bound by that.
you can reduce, you can,
If we decide later, if.
We have the county attorney, the board attorney, and the city attorney
so
telling us.
I think what I was
We let
trying
it
to,
stand and let somebody else.
what I was trying to help make sense of is I think the Florida Building Code, the city's ordinances and regulations mimic, they take on the building code because that's the requirement. So even though it's the city's rules, the city is mirroring the building code. So that's why Rhonda is saying that it really is the building code, but just kind of made a part of the city. So we're following the city's rules, but the city is mimicking the building code.
I hear you.
So that's the connection that I was trying to make sure that the board understood. So you weren't feeling like you were making a decision on something that you didn't have jurisdiction over.
And also, just to be clear, these amendments to the Florida Building Code that are adopted by the county and then by the cities within the county that enforce this code are unique to this county. They're also created through the Board of Rules and Appeals, I believe, or at least have to go through them for adoption. So this is a surprise to me, and I practice in the industry, and I think it's a good point for us to be aware that there's a lot of rule changing and adjustments and creation that goes on in places that we may not realize until we're confronted in a situation like this. I think that's the lesson we can learn here. Unfortunately, I think it is what's been adopted by the city and probably what we should follow.
So is the board wanting to reduce that particular fine amount? Is that the point?
The
I think
board
we
has
ought to let
already
it stand.
voted that it's gonna be $25 in 70 days as opposed to 70 days and $50. We've already voted.
So the minimum amount would be $50. Okay, and so the board wants to do what? I'm just trying to,
25.
$25. So then the other option is to just abate completely.
Mr. Chairman, if I may speak to this question?
Yes.
The, two things. One, we're not talking about a situation where we're not already moving to comply. We're already moving to comply.
Yeah.
So if I may suggest, and really, we don't really want to have to come back and ask for an abatement later for something that you all already think is overdone. How about if we just do the 70 days, not put any fine yet? Let's see what's happened at the end of the 70 days. We will come back and we'll tell you what the situation is. I suspect it'll be resolved before then.
You just
Except
happen to be.
Council,
can-
that's, right, except council, that's not how it works. When
You just
there's a
happen to
time to
be-
comply, there's always an associated daily fine. And if you come into compliance by January 31st, you never have to come back. You don't. It wouldn't begin to run unless you're not in compliance as of February 1st.
So counsel, you're saying that the code requires the board to assess a fine in the future. That's a requirement of the code.
Yes.
They cannot give a state more time without assessing a fine.
Correct, yes. Right, so if you're in compliance by the end of January, you never come back. The case is complied, it's closed, and you never have to come back. You never see the board never sees you.
I
No
underst-
fine is never assessed.
I understand. I also understand that we may have everything done except paperwork or something, and the board may, but that would require us to come back because we're not completely finished. I suspect we will be, but we're not completely
I mean, a
finished.
fence is a walkthrough permit, so, and if it's a couple boards, it really, I mean, it really should take you a week or two if you guys are already on it. I mean, 70 days is way more sufficient time, and you're still entitled to be able to come back and ask for additional time because there is some hiccup in the system, and then again, the fine would not continue to run either.
This is more
if they
than
don't-
just your condition today. We've done hundreds and hundreds of cases and not done
I
50.
understand.
But this
I'm
is
s-
bigger than,
I'm simply trying to solve a situation.
I don't blame
where-
you. You want yours
where-
taken care
Where
of.
where the board recognizes that this fine seems excessive to the board. I'm not making that up, that you all have said that.
Your client seems will have 70 days. As city council said, you can ask for an extension, and the fines haven't run yet. So in the event fines do need to begin, then the board has the opportunity to either enforce or abate. So it sounds like we're not at the place yet where we need to discuss what the fines will be. I think we're just talking about the parameters in which they have to be, considered for at least a $50 a day minimum, but we're not there. And they could abate, so it just feels premature if we prolong the conversation about what the fines might be. If there is compliance, we never get there.
I understand. It seems premature to me to be appointing a fine on the assumption that we don't get there.
I think they're just trying to confirm and clarify what it would look like if we get to that point. I don't think they're, at this point, trying to determine a fine amount.
Well,
They're just trying to understand how it would work now that there's been a reference to the building code that has kind of created a concern.
I would agree with you if they weren't assessing the fine as of that date, if we're not in compliance, but what I'm being told by council is that, and what the board's being told by council, is that they have no choice. They have to assess this fine.
No, they have to assess a fine of $50 a day minimum. They don't have to. They're being told what the minimum amount would be. That's all I understood.
And again, just for clarity, the board isn't assessing any fine today. So
Correct.
if you review and read Chapter 162 and the local ordinances that support and basically mirror 162, there's a daily fine that is assessed if there's no compliance. There still would have to be an additional hearing if the property wasn't in compliance, which is a Massey hearing, that the board could impose the hearing. And at that point, they can either impose, give additional time, abate the fines. So the fine just doesn't pop up without lots of due process. There's a hearing that has to be held by the board.
I understand we have another hearing. I understand the things you're saying.
Okay.
And I would feel better about it. I suspect my client would feel better about it if they weren't saying today, if you don't do this by that day, we're assessing this fine unless we come back and make a different determination later. I don't know. I'm not here for all the other hearings. I'm here for my hearing.
Yes. Seems to me that went too low on the fine.
I understand, but I'm here to advocate for my client in a situation where the board thinks that the pending fine, if it were to be imposed, is excessive. Well, apparently they were there.
We're just clarifying what the minimum fine has to be per the Florida Building Code. I think the board's recommendation was an additional 70 days.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what we're voting on.
No, we've already voted on it.
Okay.
70 days and $50 fine.
And we're seconding and all of this is complete.
We've already voted on it.
Okay, so we're done.
We're done. Finished.
Thank you.
Thank you for the time.
Vote, did you get the tally? Ma'am,
Very interesting discussion.
did you get the tally?
Do a tally of the votes.
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Everett? Yes. Mr. Marks? Mr. Manani?
We're just doing 70 days. That's what we're voting on now.
No, we have to do the fine as well.
70,
Okay.
70 days and $25 was the motion.
I was trying to confirm what we were voting on.
What are we voting on?
70 days and $25 is what,
It's seven, what
The original motion was 70 days and $25. That's what you said originally. Okay, and then we were corrected and were told that we have to do $50 a day.
I thought we were voting on 70 days and $25 because that's what the,
$25 can't be. It has, it's for a minimum fine per day. It has to
I'd
be
rather
50.
somebody tell us that it can't, I know.
They're telling us.
Okay, so take your motion back.
Because she goes to jail for 2 months.
Well, do you want to subpoena?
she made a
I think
motion.
that's what I was trying to clarify. It has to be a $50 per day minimum. So it can be 70 days, and if the fine starts to run, per the Florida Building Code, it has to be a $50 a day.
When that one's still enough.
Okay, okay.
So let's go back here. What's the motion?
What's the motion?
So what is the, I just wanted the motion.
Original motion was 25 and 70 days.
I know that. I know that.
Somebody else?
We never made a motion for
I
$50.
didn't hear that.
I know we didn't.
I did not hear the 50 either.
So we
We
need
need
to,
another motion.
Go
I
ahead.
have to debate my motion of
I'll make a motion that we find that the property is not in compliance and that we're allowing 70 days for the property owner to come into compliance with a fine of $50 per day after the 70-day if the property is not in compliance.
I got a motion by Michael, a second by Terry. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? 2 opposed. Mackey and William. So the motion carries. 70 days and $25 or $50.
Thank you.
70 days and $50.
How long has this been in?
Our next case
Thank you.
is on page 3. Senior Inspector Jorge Martinez, property address 2160 Southwest 16th Court, case number BE 21070288, owner Tamara Sue Esquivel. This case was first heard on 12522 to comply by 32222, one section at $50 per day, order recorded, not complied. There are 4 extensions noted. Notice posted at the property on 10/8/22, posted at City Hall 10/18/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22.
Inspector Martinez, on behalf of the city, presenting case as read. I'm going to let the respondent speak.
Good morning.
What's your name?
Tamara Esquivel.
Okay. And what's your relation to the property?
It's mine.
You own it? Okay, you're the owner. What do
I
you do?
inherited the property when my parents had passed,
All right.
and we, in good faith, we hired a contractor. Thought we had a permit. Thought everything was going forward. He gave us permit numbers, paperwork, and just to come to find out that it hadn't ever actually been approved, the permit. He took off with our money, and haven't heard from him. And I'm gonna let my husband speak to the.
How much
details.
time do you need?
Well,
Can I ask, good morning, board. My name is Edward Esquivel. I am the husband of Tamara Esquivel.
How much time do you need?
Well, I would need, I'll defer that to my contractor. But the reason I want to speak in behalf, because it kind of goes along with the gentleman prior to us. So I'm advocating really more for my wife. Her parents passed away. She's a housewife. I run a dealership. I'm not in the construction business. When we got the property, there was some issues with the property in terms of passing the name from her name to my wife's name, and we needed to construct in the house. The house is quite old. It was built in the '60s, and literally it's as if we go back in time. It's in the '60s. So we decided to build onto the house, just basically to sell it. Not build on to renovate the house and to bring it up to date and to new appliances, new everything.
Right.
Having said that, again, I'm not in the contracting business. We hired a contractor, and by good faith, you give a deposit, and when you start to go into ordering the windows and ordering this and ordering that, you start to give more money. Well, it turns out that he defrauded us. He defrauded us 6 months later, and then he came back and said, I apologize, and I'm going to do the right thing. And he used the name of the Lord, saying, hey, we're going to do the right thing. We came back to court, basically presenting that to you. Then it turns out that he kept stalling us, because I guess he didn't want us to take him to court or what have you. Again, we come over here thinking that the permits are being done. He's presenting us, beautiful plans and things that we already spoke to such and such person in the city. So again, we come back to you in good faith because we're telling you exactly what, then he passes away. He passes away by drug abuse, whatever the case is. What a great choice that I did, and that was my choice. And I went through Angie's list and everything to try to find this contractor. Having said that, we meet up here the last time in court. I decided to get another contractor. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not easy finding contractors out there. The contractors that actually come and see us and visit us at the house, it's very rare. They just want us to show them up, whatever we have, send me what you have, and they give us these outrageous quotes. I mean, literally outrageous quotes. I finally found this gentleman here. He walks us through what this guy actually did. We were oblivious of what this man did. This man did things that were illegal. We don't know what's legal, what's illegal. We just don't know.
Mr. Chair, if I could, and I apologize for interrupting you. Could I?
Yeah.
Yes, for the record, Rana Montoya Hassan with the City Attorney's Office. I appreciate the lengthy explanation. The city's in agreement to give the property owner, even though it's already been a year, an additional 70 days.
Okay. Is
Just
70 days going to be enough time?
But I also want to clarify because, and I appreciate that. I know you want to hurry me up, but this is important to me.
Well, the case has already been heard multiple times, and it's like I
Yeah,
said,
yeah, yeah.
you're
It's really
old,
going to come
so-
down to how much time you need.
But I'm also something, you said things just don't pop up. I actually was considering selling the property and something did pop up. If I could defer to the board, give me 1 second here. Just bear with me 1 second. I'm a little nervous. This is not something that I normally do here. Let's see here.
That's the last date of correction.
Listen, sir. Sir,
Yes.
listen, it's going to come down to how much time you need.
Okay, can you?
That's all
can-
it's going to come down to.
Well, something did pop up, and with all due respect, Attorney General, is CE 19110-589.
Okay.
That's the citation that was cited to us right after we took the property. We didn't know. It's got a $50,000 fee for painting the house. I reached out to Inspector Martinez.
Yeah,
I reached out to-
that's a code case, so that's not before this board.
That's nothing,
We
can do
can't
nothing
resolve
about
that.
We
All
can't
we
do it.
can do is
But I
give you
asked
time
you,
to
you
get
said-
this case moving forward.
It's not on the agenda.
We can
We
only
can
give
either
you
give
time.
you
to
time
get
or
this-
set this for a Massey, which would start to impose the fine.
Right, it's going to go to Massey, and I'm trying to avoid that. I mean,
Well, we're willing to give you more time. How much time do you need is what I'm asking you.
He's giving you time on what is in front of us. If there is another issue that'll come up, it'll come up separately. They're not gonna.
It hasn't come up. It's
How much
because-
time do you need to correct these violations?
I will say at least 120. Yeah, I understand. And I'm
At least
that's not-
120 days.
Yes.
Is that what you're asking for?
I am asking for it,
Okay.
and at least you'll see progress because he's going to start ordering windows. He's going to start
Okay,
getting
okay.
inspectors,
That's enough.
whole 9 yards.
How does the city feel about
I'm
126?
a little uncomfortable with that, Mr. Chair, only because, as the inspector noted, the last correction was in June, end of June of this year. So it's been almost 6 months since there's been any activity on behalf of the property owner on the permits that are in. And as I stated, I mean, the case has been in the system for a year, so I would suggest if we could hold back to the 70 days, come back at the end of January, and then certainly if real progress has been made, we certainly would be supportive of some additional time. But it's been kind of a long time, and I understand it's been a long process with lots of complicating factors, but again, to go that long without any report is,
Let's entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for 70 days.
Second.
Extension.
I got a motion by Michael, a second by William. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 70 days.
Thank you, board.
You're welcome.
Our next case is on page 2. Senior Inspector Jose Saragusti, property address 1400 Southwest 18th Court. Case number BE 2106-0093. Owner, Richard and Paula Jean Emke. Notice posted at the property 10/14/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22. This case was first heard on 2/22/22. to comply by 4/26/22, one section at $50 per day. Order recorded, not complied. There are 3 extensions noted.
Inspector Saragusti, on behalf of the city, updating the case as read. The case is not comply. I will let the respondent to speak.
Go ahead, what's your name in relation to the property?
Hi, my name is Paula Emke, and I'm the homeowner.
Okay,
I'm just was here today to ask for an extension because
how much time?
63 to 70 days.
70 days, I'll entertain a motion.
City agree with 70 days.
Extension of 70 days.
I got a motion by Terry, a second by William. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing none, motion carries. Okay, you got 70 days. Good luck.
I just wanted to say one more thing if possible. That was very gracious of you guys to abate the charges on that single mom, especially during the holidays. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 3. Senior Inspector Jorge Martinez, property address 2821 Southwest 13th Court. Case number BE 2109-0005, owner Stephen Lazardes. Notice posted at the property on 10/18/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22. This case was first heard on 2/22/22 to comply by 4/26/22. One section at $50 per day. Order recorded, not complied. There are 3 extensions noted.
Inspector Martinez, on behalf of the city, presenting case as read. The owner is working on compliance. The city is requesting a 70 days extension.
How do you feel about 70 days?
I've actually made the decision.
What's your name, sir?
Oh, Stephen Lazarides.
You own the property?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Owner? Okay. They're offering you 70 days. How do you feel about that? Is that acceptable?
I need more. I'm taking it down. There is no permit given.
You
the
need more
situation.
time. How much more time do you need?
90 days, it will be all down, resolved. It'll be done.
90 days. Well, we don't have that. We can either offer you 70 or 126. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for 70 days extension.
Second that motion.
I got a motion by Michael, a second by Terry. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, hearing none, motion carries. 70 days.
Thank you.
Next case.
Our next case is on page 6. 6 is a hearing to impose fines. Senior Inspector Jose Saragusti, property address 110 Southeast 11th Ave, case number BE 211-10142. Owner Alexander S. Dmitriev. Notice posted at the property on 10/13/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22. This case was first heard on 5/24/22 to comply by, excuse me, 6/28/22. One section at $25 per day. Order recorded, not complied. City is requesting to impose fines of $1,375, which continues to accrue. There are 2 extensions noted.
Inspector Saragusti, on behalf of the city, updating the case as read. The case is not comply. I will let the respondent to speak.
Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Valeria. I represent the general contractor in and out all access systems. Currently, we are working with the city. We applied last week as a change of contractor because the contractor was owner builder, so we stepped in.
How much
And
time?
currently,
How much time do you need?
I'm sorry, what?
How much time do you need to come into compliance?
The engineering department is currently working on the drawings. So I would say around 70 days. I will apply next week with the
70 days?
drawings.
City agree with the 70 days
I'll entertain a
extension.
motion.
I move for 70-day extension.
I'll
And
second.
do we have to do anything?
Motion by William, a second by Michael. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All
Aye.
opposed, hearing none, motion carries. 70 days. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 6 at the top. Senior Inspector Jorge Martinez, property address 1327 Southwest First Ave, owner C&C 123 LLC, case number CE 1805-1535. Notice posted at the property on 10/19/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22. This case was first heard on 10/23/18 to comply by 1/22/19. 2 sections at $50 per day. Order recorded, not complied. Fines imposed at $71,100. City is requesting to amend the 7/27/21 comply by date from 7/27/21 to 9/28/21. Fines continue to accrue. There are 6 extensions noted.
What page? I'm sorry.
Top of page 6, what do you have to say?
Inspector Martinez, on behalf of the city, presenting case as read. I'm gonna let the respondent speak.
What do you say, Courtney?
Morning, Mr. Chair, Board. Courtney Crush on behalf of CNC 123 LLC. We would like to request an extension and discussed with the inspector 63 days, perhaps that I would say 70, given what I've heard. We have been diligently working on this since spring of 2021, had building permits in. Initially, we're told it was a site plan change of use. That was reversed. Went down path on permitting, and then in May, that was re-reversed. And May, and then at the end of September. I understand that we've only have one discipline to get the after-the-fact permit issued. Fire has signed off, et cetera. So we think we can accomplish this in 70 days.
Are you seeing that progress?
Yes, city won't oppose to the 70 days.
Okay, I'll entertain motions on the amendment and the extension.
I'll second it.
I got a motion for a 70-day extension by Terry, second by Michael. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. How about
Thank you.
the comply by date?
Our next case is on page
Need a
3.
motion to amend the comply by date.
Oh, yes. We'll do that.
Do I hear?
The motion to amend the comply by date.
Yes, 70 days.
No, the motion to amend the comply by date from 7/27/21 to 9/28/21.
Oh, I'll make a motion to amend that.
All right, I got a motion by Michael to extend the comply by date.
Second.
From 7/27 to 9/28, and I got a second by Terry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, good. Thank you. You're welcome.
Our next case is on page 3. Inspector Jorge Martinez, property address 3624 Northeast 25th Terrace. Owner Frederick A. Clark, case number BE 2109-0206. Notice posted at the property on 10/18/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22. This case was first heard on 4/26/22 to comply by 6/28/22. One section at $50 per day, order recorded, not complied. 2 extensions noted.
Inspector Martinez, on behalf of the city, presenting case as read. 2 of the 3 permits are issued, only 1 missing. The city is requesting a 70-day extension.
What's your name in relation to the property?
Yeah, Joseph Cruz. I'm here representing the contractor.
How do you feel about 70-day
I
extension?
feel great about it.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a
I'm not gonna
motion for
waste your
70
time.
days.
How's that?
Second?
Second.
Thank you very much.
I got a motion by Terry, a second by William. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. 70 days. Let's get it done. Next case.
Our next case is on page 5. Senior Inspector Alejandro Del Rio, property address 1000 Alabama Avenue. Owner Marie A. Scott, case number CE 2202-0987. Notice posted at the property on 10/10/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22. This case was first heard on 8/23/22 to comply by 11/22/22. One section at $50 per day, order recorded, not complied.
Building Inspector Alejandro Del Rio, updating case as read. I'm going to let the respondent speak.
Go ahead, ma'am. What's your name?
My name is Carol Facey, and I'm representing the owner.
Okay.
She is gonna take down the addition, so we're asking for time to do that.
70 days, okay?
It can take 70 days.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll second it.
I got a motion by Terry, a second by Michael. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, 70 days. Good luck.
Our next case is on page 3. Senior Inspector Jorge Martinez, property address 6801 Northwest 26th Terrace. Case number CE 2204-0638. Owner Juan Rodolfo Ponce de Leon. Notice posted at the property on 10/18/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22. This case was first heard 8/23/22 to comply by 11/22/22. One section at $25 per day, order recorded, not complied.
Inspector Martinez, on behalf of the city, presenting case as read. I'm gonna let the respondent speak.
Go ahead.
I don't even know what I'm here for. Last time I was here for the fence.
Juan Ponce de Leon.
Okay, you the owner?
Yes.
Okay, how
And
much
then
time do you
I
need to
believe-
come into compliance?
Huh?
How much time do you need to come into compliance?
The most. I have the paint, I have the grass to do, and the fence and the pool deck.
70 days gonna be enough time?
Yeah, be close
I'll
to
entertain
the
a
pool
motion.
deck.
Move for 70-day extension.
All right, a motion by Williams, a second by Terry. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, hearing none, motion carries. You got 70 days. Let's go get them. Next case.
At this time, this concludes all of our respondents. Moving back to page 1, new business case, Senior Inspector Jorge Martinez, property address 842 Southwest 2nd Street, owner GFLNG LLC, case number BE 2201-0108. Notice posted at the property on 9/22/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22.
Inspector Martinez, on behalf of the city, presenting case as read. This building has been illegally altered and construction work illegally performed without obtaining the required permits in the following manner, but not limited to: drywall being installed on the inside of the property. The permits have been submitted. City is requesting 70 days to comply or 50 days per day thereafter.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion. Yes.
I move that we find that the city in the violation exists and pledge, and that we order the property owner to come in compliance by 70 days or a fine of $50 per day per violation imposed and recorded as per code of 2020.
Second.
I got a motion by Chris, a second by Terry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing that, motion carries. Next case.
Property address 3130 Northwest 63rd Street, case number BE 2204-0124, owner Ronald E. and Alicia Mull Jr. Notice posted at the property on 10/18/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22.
Inspector Martinez, on behalf of the city, presenting case as read. This building has been illegally altered and construction work illegally performed without obtaining the required permits in the following manner, but not limited to: the garage has been enclosed. The permits have been submitted. The city is requesting 70 days to comply or a $50 per day thereafter.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we find the city in the violation exists as alleged, and we order the property owner to come in compliance by 70 days or a fine of $50 per day per violation be imposed and recorded.
Second.
Motion by Chris, second by Terry. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, hearing that, motion carries.
Property address 3031 North Ocean Boulevard, 406, owner Ruby Wins, case number BE 2203-0002. Notice posted at the property on 10/10/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22.
Inspector Saragusti, on behalf of the city, presenting the case as read. This case was opened in March 1st, 2022. I received a case by email for a complaint for work without permit. Inspection report was mailed on March 8, 2022. Final notice was made on April 11, 2022. And notice of hearing was mailed on September 14, 2022. I have been in contact with the property owner. He is in New York recovery from a surgery. The property has been cited for Florida Building Code 2020 Broward County Edition under Section 105.1 for work without permit. City is requesting 70 days to comply or $50 per day thereafter.
I move that we find that the city in the violation exists
Chris,
as alleged.
So this is a new business case,
Yes, sir.
but I heard dates of March.
The inspection report was mailed on March 8.
That's when we open the case. When the case is open, we send an inspection report.
Didn't come before us before.
Before it comes to a hearing, there's a process.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind.
Go ahead, Chris, sorry about that.
Sorry, Chris.
I move that we find that the city in the violation exists as alleged, and we order the property owner to come into compliance by 70 days or a fine of $50 per day per violation be imposed and reported.
Second.
I got a motion by Chris, a second by Michael or Terry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing that, motion.
Somewhere down there.
Next one.
Our next case is on page 2, property address 323 Southwest 16th Street. Owner John W. Field Jr., case number BE 2202-0007. Notice posted at the property on 10/14/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22. This case was first heard on 9/27/22 to comply by 11/22/22. One section at $20 per day, order recorded, not complied.
Inspector Saragusti, on behalf of the city, updating the case ahead. The case is comply. Permit fence issued yesterday, 11/21, 2022.
It's illegal. So it's complied,
It's comply.
so we don't need to vote on it, right? We don't need to vote on that. Okay, next case.
Property address 700 Southwest 24th Ave. Owner Mohammed Abdul Martin, Parvin Mayton. Case number BE 2203-0117. Notice posted at the property on 10/14/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22. This case was first heard on 9/27/22 to comply by 11/22/22. One section at $50 per day, order recorded, not complied.
Inspector Saragusti, on behalf of the city, updating the case as read. The case is not comply. City is requesting the case return as a massive hearing.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is that building safe? Is the building safe?
Yes.
Because it says part of the wall's demolished.
Yes, but it's not any risk regarding the structure.
All right, I entertain a motion. All right, Massey it is.
Property address 100 South,
We don't have to vote on that. If they don't move to extend it, then it's a Massey. Next case.
property address 100 South Gordon Road. Owner Yvonne E. Reed, case number CE 1907-0367. Notice posted at the property on 10/13/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22. This case was first heard on 5/24/22 to comply by 6/28/22. One section at $100 per day, order recorded, not complied. Two extensions noted.
Is this the one where we got the letter?
They,
This is the one with the letter.
the letter there from Ms. Reed.
I couldn't read that letter. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
What is-
Inspector Saragusti, on behalf of the city, updating the case as read. The case is not comply. City is requesting 70 days extension.
I entertain a motion.
Move for 70-day extension.
I got a motion by William, a second by Terry. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, hearing none, motion carries. 70-day extension.
Thank you, Ward.
Moving on to page 4 at the top, Senior Inspector Alejandro Del Rio, property address 5990 Northeast 22nd Way, case number BE 2202-0070. Owner Jillian and Michael Elefante. Notice posted at the property on 10/21/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22. This case was first heard on 9/27/22 to comply by 11/22/22. One section at $50 per day, order recorded, not complied.
Building Inspector Alejandro Del Rio for the city, updating case as read. There have been little or no progress on this case. I'm requesting the case to come back as a massive hearing.
Okay, all right, Massey it is.
Thank you.
Moving on to page 5 at the top, property address 320 Southwest 13th Street, case number CE 21110104. Owner Jennifer McAllister, Alexis Wagner. Notice posted at the property on 10/28/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22. This case was first heard on 2/22/22 to comply by 4/26/22. One section at $50 per day, order recorded, not complied. There are 3 extensions noted.
Building Inspector Alejandro Del Rio for the city, updating case as read. I've been in contact with the property owner. He's been having hard time to get a contractor to do his permit for the driveway. I'm requesting a 70-day extension.
70-day extension requested, I entertain a motion.
Move for 70-day extension.
I got a motion by Terry,
Second.
Second by William. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, hearing none, motion carries.
At the bottom of page 5, property address 513 Northeast 14th Street, 4th Street, case number CE 2206-0092, owner 515 Inc. Notice posted at the property on 10/28/22, posted at City Hall 11/8/22. This case was first heard on 8/23/22 to comply by 11/22/22. One section at $50 per day, order recorded, not complied.
Building Inspector Alejandro Del Rio for the city, updating case as read. There have been no progress on this case. I haven't received any information from the property owner. I'm requesting the case to come back as a Massey.
I'll entertain a motion.
Question, absolutely no contact?
No contact.
How many times have you called them? Just curious.
We send, at the time we get to this point, they have received at least 4 notices.
Do they live at this address? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so that's where they get sent to this address.
It gets sent to whatever address the property owner have registered in Broward County Property Appraisers.
Thank you.
All right, Massey, it is. Next case.
At this time, this concludes all our cases. We would like to have the case listed on page 7 into the record as closed.
I'll entertain a motion on that.
I'll make a motion to enter all cases on page 7 as closed.
I got a motion by Michael, second by Terry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, hearing none, motion carries. What about the minutes?
Yes, the minutes from September 27, 2022.
Anyone want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes for.
Second.
Motion by Terry, a second by William. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, hearing none, motion carries.
Is there any business for the city? Okay.
This Broward County amendment is fine. It's written in 2020, it's 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't we know about it? And who requested that we?
Well, actually, we had a staff meeting with our group, the Building Enforcement Division, and the inspectors brought that to our attention because we don't, as a staff, admin staff, we don't know every single thing that's in there. And they're saying that it should have always been recognized because it's always been in there, but we just never brought it forth.
How does this affect all the past cases where we are at $25?
Well, we can't go back and redo it. We can't. But moving forward, we just want to be correct. Yeah.
That makes sense.
You say we can't go back.
Well, we can't go back and change whatever case didn't get a $50 fine. We're not going to go back and say, let's change it to 50. Yeah. But moving forward, we want to make sure that we're at least doing the minimum.
I was just curious because it's
Yeah, Chris pointed that out. It's 2020.
Well, sometimes things get caught late and we just want to nip it in the bud. Is there anything else?
I think we're good. Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I'll
This
second that
concludes
motion.
our Code Enforcement Board hearing.
By Michael.